we are going to move quickly on to the Women's League Cup in England, the Subway Cup. You
do the results. I shall do the controversy. If you like, you do your team and Forrest and some of the others.
I mean, this was a must-watch game that wasn't on. This was an amazing game where I watched only highlights because I literally could not find a stream. I tried so hard. No one was filming the game.
This is what happens when the FA player. This is what happens when it's lost. We don't get these games.
Yeah, but. I mean, I just want to talk about the key moments because it's silly to go into this game in depth because Forrest aren't the level of the opposition we've played previously. No offense to them, but when we're starting Lauren Hemp and she's just running through your back line, there's not much you can do.
I was surprised by the lineup that you put out. I presume it's because there's no game this week.
No game this week. That's exactly what I thought.
Still,
so no
like,
game.
Keep
them fresh. Keep them fresh. Keep them active. Keep them match fit. That's what I'm thinking. Sure. Okay. But it was nice to see Grace Clinton in her 10, her natural 10, which is wild, by the way. Yeah. No, so Viv and Clinton straight swap, but that goal where she starts it, gives it to Coombsy, and then Coombsy to Bunny Shaw, and Bunny Shaw doing things that I did not think she was capable of. That back heel is sublime. And then it didn't really matter where Clinton's strike was going to go. It was going to go in because there was just so much aura on the pass. But Clinton's goal was great. Bunny's pressing and tracking is just getting way more impactful. Obviously, depends on the opposition, but works up the pitch, times her presses better, works with Hempo. Bunny and Hempo are I'd argue, one of the best partnerships in the league. I think we'd have to. Next week when we're doing international break, we'll do a few top 10s and we'll get some ranting out between us because that will be fun. But when we're looking at the top 5 partnerships in the WSL. I can't think of many that would be higher than them two together. When they're playing well together, it's just a great thing to watch. But Hempo's goal may be the worst goal I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm not even joking. Yui's corner is great, but Hempo is literally all alone on the goal line, and she taps it in, and she looks at her teammates going... Did you just see what happened? Did you just see how I've just scored?
Is it worse than? Do you remember the Viv goal from the Dutch? They're either the European qualifiers or the Nations League, where it was everyone thought it was offside. She just played on and just like passed it into the net. Do you remember that?
That's really bad. Okay. We'll have a look.
Everyone
post,
fell
but
to the
in my
ground.
head,
DVD got hit.
That does sound worse. But the speed at which Hempo puts this ball in the net is so slow that the ball just gets slower every time I watch it. It's all really sad. That's the only way to describe it. But we do get a little bit complacent. As one of their players, Nahikari Garcia, has a great strike to the top right corner, gets the post. But then this game just turns into a woodwork challenge between Iman Bene, Bunny Shaw, and Laura Coombs. But Coombsy. I mean, the ball, by the way, I want to talk about Bene specifically. The Caspi link up with Bene is fantastic. I think it's better than Fugino and Caspi. I think Fugino's a better player than Bene at the moment, but their link up specifically, I think they're just on wavelengths together. And Caspi plays this ball to Bene, and the overlap is perfect, and then Bunny heads this ball into the post. Jade Rose was making a few ambitious moves, making a few mistakes, but recovering those mistakes, which shows the sign.
I'm happy about that. Yeah, I'm happy to be a bit experimental.
That's the thing I want to see, is that she's trying to break lines, and then when she makes those mistakes, her recovery rate is fantastic. She's a Yank, I'd argue, or Canadian. Nah, wow, that's insulting. But as a fellow Canadian, how dare you? But
sorry.
The last player I have to talk about, no questions about it, is a player, actually, maybe she'll end up in the awards later in the show, but Sydney Lohmann. Sydney Lohmann was immense in this game. Yeah. She looked so good. Obviously, we have to see her against in the league, against the top opposition, but edge of the box work, the dirty work, jumping into half spaces. That pass, like when you're on like the corner of the box just outside, so like 30 yards, and then you switch it across the box.
Yeah.
Like the deep, like you don't see an option in there to whip it, so you play that left-footed pass across the box. She is so good at that. Like the speed at which her passes are, she's always in the right place. she actually plays this peach of a ball to Iman Bene, and Iman should have scored, but it hits the post off this. It's a ridiculous volley. I don't even know how she got it near the target, but the whip is so perfect from Sydney. I just think I'm waiting for Sydney, Yui, and Viv. I see the vision, and I love Blinky, and she's had a great start to the year, and right now it's hard to bench her because of her form, but I think the future is Sydney, Yui, and Viv. I think that is such an enticing midfield. Again, the way Arsenal fans talk about Zubi unlocking Rice, I want to unlock Yui Hasagawa. I know she has more to offer further forward. Or you put Yui at the base and you unlock Sydney and get her in tighter spaces further forward. And those half spaces, which both of them like to be, a double pivot. Who cares? Just have fun with it, Andre. And yeah, we were great. I think there were moments where we lapsed, but that's okay. It wasn't real threats. Now we can move around the grounds to the League Cup. I mean, this is quite weird that these games were on with, like, I mean, a little bit of jeopardy, but not really. Liverpool v Sheffield. Beta Olsen doing the business in a 4-1 win away from home. She is on fire. I'm actually excited for her to get back to keep going in the league, saving Gazball's job.
I'm gonna make a joke. And I don't even know the context of this joke, but bear with me. If Bazball fails, Gazball wins.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
look at you, the cricket fan. Oh my word! So this is funny because I watch cricket and I love watching. Well, actually, I don't love watching cricket. I just love watching the Ashes and I love watching Boxing Day. If football is happening in my country, and it's not Australian men's football, I'm probably caring about it more. When cricket is happening in my country, I watch it religiously. Like, this is because I don't have to watch it. You can just be on in the background. And yes, you are not wrong about Bazball being an immense failure. And Gazball, I mean, is not far away from it. But they have picked up a little bit of form, Liverpool. And I'm excited to see if this can turn into something between Fisk and Woodham and Herbinger of Death. I mean, coming back after she's got an ACL, but she needs to come back to life. Herbinger of life. But Beta Olsen is saving Gazball at the moment because
I only know the joke because my nonna is the only Italian that watches.
That is hilarious. Cricket. I love that for you.
So, like, when I watch Gazball, I'm basically, it's kind of like I am embodying, like, this figure that's just, I'm not supposed to be watching this and enjoying Liverpool playing, similar to an Italian should not be enjoying cricket.
But you love Gareth Taylor.
No, I love Gareth Taylor.
You do love.
Arrest me, I love Gareth Taylor.
Yeah, I think this is something that any of you guys, the diehard listeners who are listening to us week in, week out, you don't actually you don't understand the undying love. Like, Leggy likes Gareth Taylor more than I like Gareth Taylor, and Gareth Taylor did, albeit some weird things by the end of his tenure. He's done amazing things for my club, and Leggy's just like, how could you let him go?
I'm enamored.
That beautiful man. He's so beautiful. I mean, I agree. He's the silver fox. I can't disagree. But if we're going to continue, we're going to talk about Everton getting their win. Mamiki and Payne doing the business. LCL's second squad toppling Ipswich, which is funny because they have a third squad, don't they, with how many players LCL have. But they had possession, they had ease. It was very easy. But Portsmouth beat West Ham.
This was a shock.
Like, are we actually serious?
No, I am shocked because Portsmouth. Portsmouth.
No, the bloody Pompies. The Pompies. Yeah. How is Skinner survive? How is she still got a job? The Pompies are beating you. You've had 15 shots, 9 on target, and no goal. Come on.
At this point, I'm wondering, do the West Ham owners know that they have a women's team?
But also, they made it through. West Ham have made it through. We'll talk about the draw, but they actually made it through the group. Maybe that's why there was no jeopardy in this game to win it. But I mean, in comparison to Martha Thomas getting their Spurs win for Spurs 1-0 win over Bristol, Martin Ho, know who you've got up front. Martha Thomas, streets will never forget that 23-24 season. But and then last but not least, I mean, do you want to do this one?
Yeah, I want to do this so bad.
Yeah, this game was wild.
Okay, who cares about the game? Who cares about the game?
Wait, Leggy, what was the score? Who cares?
I don't even know. It was
No,
3-0?
it's Ruesha 1 and Hannah Cain 0, right?
I log on to Twitter. I log on to, and I see it is the grainy, like, a sky high footage. It's kind of like I'm watching, Google Maps and I'm watching this game.
Yeah.
This is so weird and rogue. But I'm watching this game and I see a fight boil out and I go, nice, awesome. I want more of this anyway. And all of a sudden, I see Ruesha Littlejohn, John Cena tackle.
John Cena tackle. It's a headlock. She does a headlock. Yeah.
To smashing on the ground, KO.
Yeah.
I see Hannah Cain look like she's having a seizure. I'm more concerned about her than Ruesha. I don't know what was said. It looked like just a push. I mean, it's kind of like, I hate to play the stereotype here, but it just looked like someone, I don't know, said something like is rude about Ireland or something, or potatoes.
Well, Hannah Cain is Irish, correct?
No, she's Welsh.
Yeah. Okay, Hannah Cain is Welsh and Littlejohn is Scottish.
Well,
Yeah,
well, she's
Irish. Irish
yeah.
heritage, but has certain heritage elsewhere.
Scottish, but she's
Scottish, Irish, and she's headlocked a Welsh person. To be honest, kind of fair.
If this were outside a pub, I would understand this.
This is the most justified headlock in Woso that has ever happened. And I know you say John Cena, but that's all fake. This is Little John Jones. This is like UFC GOAT move. The way she throws her to the ground is so insane. It's so wild. Obviously, like, the easiest red card of your life, but the way she's like smiling afterwards is horrendous. And she's the one who said Hannah Hampton was a handful.
I just want to know why she did. The only thing I want to know is why she didn't do this during the Ireland game against Australia. I would have grabbed Caitlin Ford's hand, whipped her over me, and just flung her. Like, she did this against Hannah Cain. Who cares about Hannah Cain?
It was insane. It was so wild, and it means that Palace, who also got through, won't have Ruesha Littlejohn for their game against your lot, which is so sad. Yeah, I know. It was going to be such a spectacle.
Again, it would have been 2 years in a row, by the way, that Ruesha would have played not only her ex team but her ex, and I think that's poetic.
And we'll get to the actual fixtures that we have, but we have to talk about the Subway Cup draw, right? So obviously, when I think of the UCL pot draw, I think of Liga Martens doing the business. I think of the little button press, and then the team comes out.
Scott talking about Chelsea like it was her team and beating them up.
Exactly right. The best roster and all that stuff. But when I thought what the Women's League Cup, Subway Cup draw would look like, it wasn't that. I guess it wasn't that. It wasn't my cultural zeitgeist goat, GK Barry, saving grace, doing the business in the draw. I mean, look, I think she's hilarious. I think she's one of the great British female personalities within the social media space. I think picturing it any other way is, wanting Woso to be indicative of Menso, and I think like the idea that we have to play into some certain standard of decorum for a League Cup draw, when the reality is that, do I think GK Barry would have been, if she was a little bit more like football literate, would this have been a little bit less judgmental?
No.
I'm not saying she needs to be. I'm saying, would people be less judgmental if she was a little bit more football literate?
I think people would be upset anyway, because everyone's upset. Everyone's upset all the time. Be happy. Be fun. I don't understand. First of all, you have someone who is so... The cup is called the Subway Cup. No one's taking this seriously.
Yeah.
At least
not even the trophy name.
No, at least feed into the like funniness of all this, like the absolute like absurdity of the whole thing.
How long's the trophy? A foot long.
Yes, it is. It is a cup, right? That people laugh at. Right.
Yeah.
First of all, RIP to the Conti Cup. I heard the news that apparently if you're competing in the Champions League, you will not be able to compete in the Conti. That is one of the stupidest decisions. Yes,
for Arsenal fans, yes, it is.
Look at me. I'm mourning. I'm mourning.
This is all the moments of the greatest moments of your entire life.
What has gotten me through the 2020s, other than a Champions League run, is a Conti Cup. Not one, but two.
Look at that finger. That finger of Jonas. That moment is just so iconic. That is it. But
going back to the draw, you're asking a social media personality to be a social media personality.
Yeah.
You're asking her to do her job, and
Yeah.
she's doing her job. She's appealing to the audience. Yeah, it's not the Twitter audience that watches, YouTube highlights from the 2004 World Cup or whatever the hell. Like this is a football audience. It's casual that just kind of wants to feed into the very personal and personable nature of women's football. Do I agree with that side of football all the time? No, because I'm also that really pretentious football fan. But I also
She is a little bit of a Luddite. Yes, you are a little bit of a Luddite, but you also can have a laugh. You can see GK Barry for what she is, which is an amazingly witty, very much doesn't takes herself seriously unserious, and I love that about her. And some of the jokes she was making were just the jokes I would expect GK Barry to make on her own pod. It was like she was on her own pod, and it was saving grace plus that they were drawing it, and I thought that was funny. And then the moment of controversy where she says a chant that I think every football fan has ever said, including Tottenham fans, just accept the fact that, like, you don't have to take it that way. What do we actually think of Tottenham? Leggy can say shit. I say maybe a little bit, but like ambitious, like you can be bigger than what do we think of Tottenham. Last year, your men's side made me think differently of Tottenham, after coming 17th in the league, but you won a cup, which made you not the Tottenham I know you from my life. This is the part where you're taking you reacting to what GK Barry is saying is the most Tottenham thing you can do. That's the sad reality of this situation, is that I want that moment to be seen as less like it's so marginal, it's so cheap, it's so nothing, that ultimately it's probably arguably the weakest joke in her arsenal of what she did. No pun intended. But I just think she's jokes, and I think she doesn't deserve the criticism she got.
I think that I'm going to be both woke and unwoke, right? It is both woke that you have a woman with her girlfriend making funny little gay jokes about the draw. That is awesome that we can do that, right? It's like, genuinely, that's awesome. But also be a little bit like chill about the fact that this, again, I say it's a cup. No one takes it really that seriously. And I kind of love the fact that she lent into the jokes part of it, that, anyone on Twitter is doing. Like, I dare anyone on Twitter to go and do what J.K. Barry did, and they would say the exact same thing, because it's kind of absurd. It just is.
Oh, it's so good. And the funniest bit is when she picks up picks up the Tottenham thing and puts it back and then picks it up again. It's so, like, look, at least she didn't disrupt the integrity of the draw, which is great. Which is what we want. So Tottenham ends up playing Man United, which is great. I think that's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's what we want. We want Tottenham versus United every week, don't we? Because I mean, we want City, we want City to play easier teams, and we want you and Chelsea playing every week. But you guys drew the mighty Palace without Littlejohn. Liverpool drew Chelsea, and West Ham drew us, which is fantastic for us.
We got pull out her best performance against.
Yeah, don't just shush. But it also means that Chelsea and City are on the same side, and Arsenal and Man United / Tottenham are on the same side. So it kind of, I mean, in my head, I see us beating West Ham. I see you beating Palace. I see Chelsea beating Liverpool. And then United, Tottenham, depending on what United's depth looks like and how their run of form looks post-international break, is a very interesting question. But you must be quite happy with the way in which the legs of the draw has gone, because it means that your beloved last, basically, if you're going to play Europe next year, your last Conti Cup, your last Subway Cup, you have to win it.
I have to win. We have to win this. Because it is not only a prerogative to win a trophy every year. We're Arsenal. We have to win something. But It is the Conti. It is the. I don't care if it's a Subway. I don't
It's
care
not
if it's
the
the
no.
League Cup.
It's the ghost of it's the ghost of the Conti still lives
we need
within
to commemorate it.
within the sub within the
Yeah.
Thousand Island sauce. There's Conti sauce all over the Subway.
We need to commemorate it, and we
Yeah.
are truly cup merchants. We love it like no one else does, so
Yeah.
we deserve to win it.
Yeah, but I mean, look, if Chelsea are still in Europe and doing the business in Europe, and we play them, and we're playing a tired and stressed and need to feel better on Swiss Chelsea in the League Cup semi-final after we batter Skinner's West Ham. Look, I'll take any cup that comes to us. I'm not sitting here being sneery at silverware, and I never will be. And I mean, if we're in the Champions League next year and you're in the Champions League next year, I'd love to have a little piece of metal over you. Which,
Just a memory.
I mean, also to beat you at your own cup would be almost poetic.
You've done it before. You did it last year.
Yeah, I know.
Mary
no.
Fowler's launch strike. It haunts my dreams.
I know, but we didn't. But we didn't win the cup. We beat you, but we didn't win the cup. That's the point. We need to get our hands on the silverware, and we've always been better at the FA Cup than we are at the League Cup. Our FA Cup form, we just make the semi-final or final every year, kind of guaranteed. Whereas this, I feel like we do slip up a little bit here and there. So we need to make sure we take this seriously as the secondary competition until the FA Cup starts. And I think we will have time. And then that final will come later on in the year when it truly matters, and it's a bit of squeaky bum time for you and Chelsea in the later stages of the Champions League. By then, I think United will be knocked out of all competitions and trying to make a mount for the league. But that's all I really have for England. As we vamos to the Liga F, as we're going to talk about the big three, two of which doing their normal things. So we'll start with them. Barcelona away at Levante, as we start the game very quickly with Kika. I mean, it's in the TikTok already. Kika lifts the ball, Payol chests it down, boom, goal, 1-0. Just give her anything. The girl will rip the net in half. She is a machine. But then, I mean, I don't know how this is a penalty on Sydney Shertonley, but apparently it is, with the high foot thing. I don't know what was going on, but ball don't lie. I don't know if you know the reference to ball don't lie. It's a very like basketball centric reference of when a foul happens. Yeah, this was coined by Rasheed Wallace, the guy who has the most fouls of all time, who said if I foul you and it's not a foul, you will miss the free throw because the
karma.
Ball never lies, right? Pina's penalty was ball don't lie. That
Was
penalty,
it ball don't lie, or was it just being Spanish?
Maybe Spanish penalties don't lie. Maybe that's it. But yeah, Pina's penalty, I mean, thank God she had the chance to redeem herself. And also, the Liga F is their testing / stomping ground, but the ball she plays to Kika for the second goal is sublime. Like, she could have easily just phased herself out of that game, but then they end up getting another penalty. Kika gets brought down in the box while shooting. By the way, for all you Newcastle fans out there who were complaining about Foden saying he didn't deserve a penalty in the men's game, there is your example of a player getting shooting, then getting tackled, falling over, ref calls a penalty with VAR, and then Pina gets the chance to redeem herself fantastically. And then last but not least, my goat, La Reina, getting brought down in the box, and then her penalty was also very good. So now she's 2 of her last 3. Congratulations, Alexia, for scoring penalties. But
yeah, her next one, she'll miss it.
Oh, don't even. I mean, the next one's coming in the Nations League final. We can see that soon enough. But a very routine win for Barcelona in the league, as we say. Real Madrid doing the business at home over Eibar, a 3-0 win. But I want to talk about 2 players, really, because Athenea is definitely back in the starting lineup. I think this is hers to take. I know Fella's been good. I know Caicedo's been amazing, but this was her best game I've watched. She was swapping wings. The run she made for the first goal to Weir. So she takes on about 4 or 5 players, and Weir just stops her in her run and goes, I'm going to take the ball now. You're going to run over the ball. You're going to miss it, and I'm going to score this. And that was a fantastic goal, but not as good as her second goal on the second. So that was in the second minute, that goal for Weir. And then the second minute of the second half, I mean, the build-up from kickoff to Navarro to Sheila Garcia, and then Weir gets the ball on the half turn, left foot, outside the box, postage stamp into the top left corner. I mean, that was, dare I say, Alexia Putellas-esque.
I was actually going to say trademark Weir now.
Trademark.
Really.
Wow, there you go. This is it.
And this is not to take the crown from Alexia, because I think Alexia is obviously the supreme at so many aspects of the game, especially the long shot, especially the target of those far corners. But to me, it's so obvious now that whenever I look at Caroline Weir, if it's anywhere in the vicinity where she gets at least 2 steps to line up and shoot, she can do anything. It's
so
phenomenal.
good. It's insane. Like, she's the least Scottish footballer I know. I swear. This girl is Carolinos.
You think Little can't do that? Come on.
Not anymore.
Little can do
Not
that.
anymore. Not that strike. Not that strike. No ways. Not anymore. But there was a time where, yes, it was Kimos Litelos, but now it is Carolinos Veros, and she is, I mean, you said it before the pod, her Ballon d'Or rankings right now with Real Madrid in relatively good stead in the UCL, mounting a challenge in the Liga F for Barca. She is everything right with Real Madrid, especially with Caicedo re-signing till 2031. We forgot to mention that, but that is a huge signing for Real Madrid, basically cementing Linda Caicedo as a future Real Madrid superstar if they keep going, right? She is one of the faces of Woso, especially at her age. The notoriety she got after that World Cup, especially the moment against Germany. But this is a team that is building something. Well, I don't know what they're capable of just yet because of the monopolization that Payet and Barcelona have over this league. But this team right here is scary. And this Caicedo, Athenea, I feel like they're like Redondo is good, and obviously Rocio Galvez and or Navarro is amazing, but they're just like maybe 1 or 2 signings away from being oh my god, this is like Real Madrid are a scary outlet the way they are in Menso. To that level, you'll never not be fearing Real Madrid in the Menso, and I feel like eventually money and time will catch up to Madrid, and we'll look at Woso Madrid in that way, and Weir is everything about that.
I actually don't think that they need to spend money. I think that's kind of been their problem for the past 3-4 years. I actually think they need to settle. I think they need to really establish what they are. Retain, settle in the system, and I think build. I think they have really good young talent there. They have a stable crop of kind of that late 20s talent, the Caroline Weirs especially. I mean, to me, you're looking at a team that may not be able to challenge in the league. I mean, I'm never expecting them to really challenge in the league. But if they can get a good Champions League run, if by some happenstance the opposition knocks itself out and they can get through, kind of like what Arsenal did last season, they could be a contender. They have at least aspects of depth there. I can see that they have the academy talent. They're finally investing in their academy.
Comendador. They're those kind of players. Yeah, Fella as well. Ugh.
Stick with it. So I don't think spending money is the option here. I think just stick with it.
You're 100% right. And the last thing that we didn't even mention is that Pau Casada is a fantastic manager. He definitely knows his players. He knows his best 11. He knows when to bring in players for certain moments. And that's why, I mean, that scramble in the corner was resulting of those subs getting the scramble, and then Rocio Galvez, a centre-half that has mountains of experience to give, but also is quite mature in the way in which she operates her defensive spaces. But the last question is Caroline Weir a top 5 player in the world right now? Is she there? Is she 5? Is she 3?
I think she's 4 to 3. I think I think there's Clara Bull. I think you can chuck a Barca player in there if you like. You can chuck an Alexia, you can chuck an Ewa. But
it's hard to look past her. The
Bunny's there as well, I think.
Yeah,
Bunny's
of course. But if we're talking for like Ballon, if we're doing Ballon right now, it's hard to look past a player that's just doing the business every single game. It's crazy. And I think she's got her left foot, her right foot. She's never afraid. The confidence, the freedom that Casada gives her to do the things she wants to do on the field is ultimately a testament to him, a testament to Real Madrid being able to actually cement some of their history. It's weird because when we think of Madrid, we think of Galacticos. We think of the beautiful individual brilliance. Caroline Weir could be a Galactico. Maybe that's the goal, right? In future, if they retain and they keep going, that's the goal. Is that Linda Caicedo is a future Galactico. She is a Galactico. Like this is the beginning of that dynasty, that Real Madrid dynasty that we think will inevitably happen for Woso.
I think Galactico kind of, but I actually think more dynasty. I think Galactico has the attribution of like just buy your way to success. But I think if the Caroline Weir, I don't think she's fantastic. When she came from City, she was a top tier player.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. But
I don't think I don't think anyone saw her as a top 5 player in the world.
Oh no. She never got to this form at City. Exactly. No,
yeah.
100%. I mean, come back with this form, please.
No, come back to us.
Yeah, no. No, but you love us more. It's not about
said all the City players ever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she won for us. You know, that's how it feels. We've spoken about this team, we've spoken about that team, and now we're going to speak about a big slip up. Despite them winning in the UCL, this was a big knock because Tenerife gave Atleti a game, and some of the ballers in this Tenerife side are going to get moves. I'm not joking. This girl, Castello, by the way, this should have been the indicator. Like 5 minutes in, she takes this strike from deep. Top bins, Gallardo, great save. But I was like, okay, this is a bit weird. I mean, obviously Atleti start slowly, but obviously they're going to start styling on them. And then the movement, Castello like skips past Luani and Sariegi at the same time, whips this peach of the ball. Verges as a centre half has pushed up the field, heads the ball in from the near post to the far post. Gallardo didn't even move. The pace of the cross is perfect. The speed of the header is amazing. I'm like, oh my God, this Tenerife are looking like prime Barca right now.
I thought that they were actually looking like prime Atleti. I thought they were kind of styling their own game.
But it's not
Atleti.
Yeah, I know, I do get, yes. No, I actually agree with you. But the first half was all Tenerife. They just, so many chances. They used the width really well. They tackled centrally and then expanded as far as they can. Who cares about half spaces? Just run, dive, hit the byline. And Amani screws this big chance as what's her name? Ozrui sets her up, playing that ball across the box from the wide spaces. But Atleti did have 1 or 2 chances. Sariegi was the best one, and that got saved. And then in the second half, it just didn't stop. So Atleti had a goal line clearance early on from that dangerous wide cross from Zaremba on the other side of the pitch for them. And then, I mean, you can't argue more when you think, oh, maybe they've just got some good players. Their manager brings on in the 71st Carlota Suarez and Bisho, and 2 minutes later they combine for their 2-0 goal, right? And Suarez plays this ball, she's got her back to the goal, hezzy pass, no look, something out of FIFA Street, and then it's an easy one-on-one for Bisho to finish past Gallardo and just put enough power on it so that it was 2-0. And then ultimately Ramos, the Tenerife goalie, Noelia Ramos, kept a few chances out, but finally Gabby Garcia broke through and did some nice play with Sheila Guiaro, but they couldn't get a second, and Tenerife, Selly's post-match, were rightfully deserved for quite an immense performance to give a big dent to Atleti's UCL, I mean, not UCL title chances, because if Barcelona make it far enough, then it'll be that third team coefficient, but big dent to the Madrid derby that will come up will be a big tester of where they sit in the league. But Tenerife, what a performance. I mean, just unbelievable. But actually, these teams aren't second and third. These teams are third and fourth because Sociedad are actually first. My GOAT, Edna Imade, which we're going to get to. Also, she's changed her name to Ednos Imados. And we'll get to that in a sec. But she scored. Ezeguirre, who is her substitute second striker, she also scored. They beat Alhama 3-1. They're second in the league right now. But I don't really want to talk about the game that much. They were good. Imade's goal was fantastic, a strike along the box. And Ezeguirre, I mean, she did miss a pen, but then pounced on a chance 10 minutes later with some good pressing. But the big talking point is that Edna Imade is now eligible to play for the Spanish national side. And I just want to know your thoughts on that as a player that we've spoken about now a lot. I feel like we are the biggest purporters of Edna Imade as a specimen to utilize as a different archetype. But what do you think? Where does this matter? Does Sonia Bermudez bat an eye at the fact that Imade is now Spanish, or does Esther Gonzalez start to get jittery a little bit? The question: Jenny Hermoso's still kicking, knocking about. What does Edna Imade's nation change mean for this La Roja?
I think fundamentally it shows that Spain are willing to kind of open their eyes to more talent outside of the established systemic like ball that they like to play. They have typically chosen players that play in Spain, that love the Spanish style of football and can easily kind of slot in that system. But I think Imade is a fantastic option to be just a difference maker. Like a player who I don't necessarily expect to start, not only just because she's new and that she's young, but also because there are just players that are better than her that will be ahead of her naturally. But I kind of like this idea. I think one of the things that Spain didn't use and didn't use to their detriment in the Euros was that forward change. So there weren't a lot of subs with the 9 that were effective. They were basically either like for like or, you know, very, very stale options, right? You take off Esther and who do you bring on, right? You didn't bring on a Redondo, right? Someone who is a game changer. You can now bring on an Imade, right? You're not having to rely on maybe like, you know, your flanks as much. You can actually rely centrally. I think Spain have always looked for a number 9. Since Jenny, they've really lacked, you know, your typical number 9. Esther tried to fill that spot, but she herself is aging as well. And the pressures of playing in the NWSL are catching up on you. It's a very physical league and it's a very physically demanding league. But Imade is, as you very much know, a talent and someone who I think can really mold but also into the system, but also implant her own style onto this Spanish team.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's an exciting. I mean, obviously, I made my case very clear about when Taylor Hines moved. I feel like there is a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth about like the fact that she could have been a striker for Nigeria and potentially do things in the WAFCON that Nigeria usually do and be that basically that next in line to Oshwala and Ajibade and be the next Nigerian powerhouse striker, right? But I mean, there are like, I'm not gonna go on a super duper rant about it because I've done it before, but the reality is that this is a new archetype of striker that Spain can and I think will use when necessary, because I would love to see how this technically brilliant Spanish side can just drop balls on this girl's head, drop balls across the box for her to pounce on. I think Spain have been missing. I think Salma is a physical presence, but from a speed standpoint, they never had that bruiser. I feel like Jenny is a bit of a bruiser, but not that same physical stature that strikes fear in the same way from a purely physical standpoint. And I think Imade will definitely do important things for La Roja, whether it be not for this Nations League, obviously, but down the line, whether they find ways to gel her for international friendlies and see what happens. But who knows? It's interesting. I mean, if you're Sonia Bermudez, you're just licking your lips and thinking, wow, I have another option, another player who's in the peak of her powers at the moment. And she can only get better. She's 25. She's not old. She will get better. You're so lucky if you're Bermudez. You've stumbled onto another player who can help you keep going in your newfound glory. The Bunds. As, I mean, there's not really much to talk about here other than VfL away to Leipzig, beating them 3-1 relatively easily. Is there much to talk about other than the big 2 super subs, or not super subs, but their help? Actually, their depth, maybe that's the best part to talk about. The fact that their depth, Zakai and Busi, players that are probably not just on the fringes of that starting 11, doing the business in the league. They can trust them to do the business in the league week in, week out. A good finish for Leipzig to get 2-1, but ultimately Huth finished it off with a lucky deflection. I don't know how that ball goes in. But Zakai's volley for that first goal.
Was that a Woso volley, Ben?
No, absolutely not. How dare you? That was I mean, the corner clearance to it, so the start of it to get to there is Woso-esque, but the actual technique on the volley,
I agree.
it's too good. It's so nice. It's in the top bins. She hits it really hard. The Selly's very good. It was a great moment for her specifically because she's a player that deserves her place in that VFL fringe, right? This is the youth crop that we were talking about. This is the new age Wolfsburg, like the days of Rolfo and Ewa and Caro are no more. This is the new breed, and honestly, I can see a lot of them. Like a player like Zakai, if you don't respect her enough, or Bussy, if you don't respect either of them enough, they will go to bigger and more ambitious clubs and do the business elsewhere because they can.
I was going to say, I mean, we saw some of these players in the Euros and we saw people talking about them like they were starters, like they were players to be respected. They're second B team, if you like, in VFL. I think there is an exception to be said about the fact that you are coming up against the big titans in this VFL team. It's really hard to kind of break in. No. But I think it's very vital for these players to get the minutes, to be, shown the ropes, even if it's, against Leipzig, who's no easy pushover
Definitely
in the
not.
Bundes, and no opposition really is in the Bundes.
Yeah.
But I think get the minutes, give the important players rest. I think that's what VFL really struggled with last season, rest and rotation. Yeah. And I think that they're doing it really well. And I don't think they'll win the league, but I think it'll be great to watch what they can do and just play their football, because their football is very good.
Yeah, and keep doing their thing in the Champions League as well, because they're doing well there. And ultimately, if players like Zakai and Bussy stay in the squad, in the crop, this is a testament to Stefan Lerch, the manager, who's got them to buy into the VFL project, the new age VFL. We've spoken about this time and time again. You can't win the league. You can't win Champions League with 11 players. You need the role players. You need the players who are doing it in the league so that you stay in the Champions League. You need the players who are hungry to break into the side. You need players who are happily unhappy with the current paradigm they have in the team and the availability that they have, so that the older players can go, oh crap, these young guys are doing it. I have to up my game. I have to continuously improve. And that's how that exponential growth builds into belief that you can beat anyone and at any time. And I mean, it kind of manifested itself in that United game, but it's good to know that the youngsters can build off that energy from the United game into the Leipzig game to win it. Bayern's youngsters are doing it in their games when, I mean, this was paged as a top four clash, SERIE FC Hoffenheim against Bayern. And, I mean, despite Laura Johanna Dick making 9 saves, I mean, a goalie's hero, if you remember, one of our earliest podcasts, we spoke about Laura Johanna as an amazing goalie, but she copped 5 on the weekend against Bayern Munich, this team. And I mean, we can talk about the whole team. We can talk about how good Bayern have been all year, but this was Tanikawa's day. Holy crap. 2 goals, 1 assist. I mean, classic Bayern copping the first goal, same as PSG, the penalty to Amporta. Alara, I don't know what I think of Alara Settler for Bayern, but very weird tackle considering there were defenders in front of the Hoffenheim attacker. You didn't really need to tackle there, but obviously that tackle was left inconsequential as Stanway does the business, scores the equalizer from a Tanikawa assist. I don't know how on purpose that assist was. It looks good, but I think she's trying to run after it. I feel like it was a missed first touch, but it looks like a great pass if you just look at it from the direction of where the ball's gone. But then the game kind of ends when Kaut gets her second yellow, so Hoff go down to 10 players, and then it was 1-0 at halftime and 5-1 at full time. So, I mean, they did the business. Alara gets her goal to make up for her own penalty. And then, look, I mean, one big chance for Hoffenheim in that second half. But Marmutovic does her job, and Janssens, who's a right back. I mean, you got to feel bad. She just hits it straight at the keeper. But 55 minutes onwards, Tanikawa coming alive, 2 goals, just fantastic in quick succession as well. The way she can just bounce off defenders, it's like she's got glue on her feet for the ball. Like, no one was getting near her, and then she's hitting the shots far post. She's hitting them near post. She's going high. She's going low. She's playing these passes. Her attacking game, like, my only criticisms of her are defensive work, right? I think when she's building up, she's getting she's getting sticky and mixy with the ball. There's nothing much to criticize in the way in which she operates those final third spaces. So it's just a question of how important she will be tracking back when they're without possession. I feel like there's not much in my head. You just got to keep doing what you were doing in this game and against PSG, because that's the level we want to see you play for Bayern Munich, I guess.
I love Tanikawa. I think she is that great kind of mix of that pure kind of Asia ball techie flair that I love. I love to see it. I think it's great. But these players are so good at adapting to their roles. And you mentioned defense. I think she really knows where to put her energy. I think she knows that she has really good defensive cover behind her. She has wingers that'll come in and help defense as well. And I think she also realizes that ahead of her, she has willing runners. She has players who want to get on the ball, want to get her pass off to be a goal. I've always thought Tanikawa was a player who, if you give her a run of form, she will be able to kind of prosper, but also be like a real, like a linchpin in this team, like someone that you look to be the outlet for goals, the outlet for assists, the outlet for creativity. I don't know. I look to the Asia Cup. And I go, shit, like,
seriously, her, Yui, and Miyazawa in the midfield
exactly
versus Gori and KCC. I mean, they'll have a lot of work to do if you're going to fight up against three. Look, I would say Yui's one of the best sixes in the world. I'd say Tanikawa on form right now is looking like a top 10, at least 10 in the world. And Miyazawa, I mean, not so much the last few weeks, but the start of this year was building into a pretty impressive rapport this season. So they're going to be testing us. They're going to be working hard. And Tanikawa is going to be everything good about Japan in this upcoming Asian Cup. But ultimately, this was, Tanikawa's game did a great job. She came off, and then Padilla and Caruso teamed up for a finisher. Stanway actually plays in Tanikawa's second goal. I forgot to mention that. Like, the other thing you said that she does have good defensive cover behind her, but for how long is the question with Stanway contract ending this year? There's a chance that she can.
I think she's coming back to England.
She's thought about a move back home. Whether that home is, I mean, in my head, I don't think she plays for us. I don't think she plays for Chelsea. So in my head, you're the team who needs a 6. And the way Olme's playing right now, low key, I could see her playing at United, which is crazy. But ultimately, I think you're the two options, and then the only other team who could afford her is London City, but I don't see her playing for LCL because she's not that old. But
I think if you take Stanway out, you have the youngsters, but you also have Oberdorf, the inevitability of her.
But the availability of Oberdorf is now the question.
That's a whole other debate.
Exactly,
I mean, I would give her my knee. Take it. I don't care.
You can take everyone's knee. Take all the knees on standby for Lena, 100%. But I mean, Damjanovic, I mean, this is what you were talking about, where she has a one-on-one and then tries to chip the keeper and it hits the crossbar. And I'm just like,
that's so Stina.
Just open up your foot, put it to the right, and then Clara Bull was taking pot shots as well in the 63rd minute.
I kind of rate that.
But her strikes are so clean.
They're also
if anyone wants to watch a tutorial on how to ping the ball, watch the 63rd minute of this game for Clara Bull's strike. I don't know how Laura Johanna saves this because it's such a nice strike, but Have you seen like footballers, especially in the women's game, that sometimes the ball looks huge? Like sometimes it looks massive, right? Clara Bull, when she kicks the ball, it looks like she's kicking a mini ball. Like she rifles the ball. It's very good. But I did want to mention the last goal we were talking about, the Padilla Caruso team up, because that's kind of that same thing for Zakai and Bussy. Obviously not to the same form level right now, but if Bayern are going to be a serious outlet, which they always are in the league, but if they're going to maintain their level at the top, it's important for players that are coming off the bench to be a part of, albeit not consolations, but finishing goals when they're 4-1 up, doesn't matter. But if they're 1-1 and they're the two that get it, that's the important part. And they're still buying into that project that Bayern have built. And I mean, again, we can start saying it now. Routine wins for Bayern in the FRAUEN. Vive la France, as we spoke about Lyon playing Strasbourg. I mean, Leggy did say between the 3 games that there would be 10 goals across both games.
I was only 2 off. Before you say you're wrong,
no, you were wrong. But this game had me terrified. Holy crap. I was like, oh my God. I was so right, especially after the Lyon game. I was like 3-0 up. I'm like, oh my God, she's done. But this game was terrifying because ultimately Lyon, the worst moment was like 40 seconds in where they had a goal line clearance for Lyon in that scramble. But then once Brandon Cantoto, Yula Brand started linking up with Marie Antoinette in that way, it was done. And then Besho gets this really nice slice and turn from a Diani ball that's so pinpoint, centimetre perfect, so good. And then the second half domination from a 1-0 to a 5-0, because this is what they do. They get these bursts of time. But an own goal, very unlucky, not just for Strasbourg, but for Yula Brand, because she don't get any GA for this, but it's such a nice run. It's such a nice ball. She deserves something for this goal.
We talked about this, right? Like, we talked about, like, forcing the own goal, I think, should count as something towards GA.
Yeah, it should be an assist. It should be an assist, no question about it. But then she finally does get a goal from this rebound scramble, but ultimately it's really bad defending from Strasbourg. They're just not tracking the players, not tracking Yula Brand at the 8-10 yard box, having the ability to slice that ball into that bottom left corner. Then Tarsian, a player that I would argue is one of the most overrated footballers in the world, scores a great header from a corner. She is good at what she does, but the reality is that there are games where she gets caught out, and it's her price point. I think it's more the price point. They spent so much money on a right back / centre half.
They spent so much money on a player that they thought was going to be the next Renard. Remembered that she's coming from...
That's a silly reason to buy someone, to think that anyone will be the next Renard.
But it's the truth. They're looking for a tall, dominant centre half come fullback, right? And I think Tarsian is a player that I don't think she's smart. Like, IQ-wise, I think she's quite dumb. But I also think that she is so attached to the style of football, that Brazilian gritty style of football, that she lacks that kind of finesse that is innate within this Lyon team. They love passing the ball. They love playing through the flanks. Tarsian's a player who would literally just smash it for the sake of it.
I mean, the question is I don't know her best position. Is it the right back? Is it the right centre? If it's the centre half, then there are questions about who they have at right back. And I've been very, very vocal about the fact that it's got to be Sophie Sveva, and that's the plan.
Ashley Lawrence.
Ashley Lawrence is an option, but albeit I don't think a very, ambitious option. Sure. But also the question becomes who's better out of her and Ingrid Engen, and I'm going to take Engen over Tarsian every day of the week and twice on a Sunday, right? Like, if you're playing a European Cup game, 2 legs, I'm going to play Engen because...
Well, of course, but that's the thing. Tarsian, I don't think she's the player for now. I was actually really surprised that she didn't go straight on loan, that she actually started getting minutes quite early on.
840,000 pound loan. Yeah, but there's no way. There's no way. That's true. I do agree. And she's Brazilian and quite remnants of this new age Brazilian Benito that's coming. But I mean, if we're going to we mentioned Lilia Hannes wasn't great in the UWCL, but was quite mesmerizing in this game against Strasbourg because, lesser opposition, but that ball to Ada Hederberg, the header goal for Hederberg, this is what she does every single week. Every week. I
think we can also admit that there's no midfield in the ARKEMA. There's just no midfield.
They do get so much time on the ball. It's
pretty crazy.
The same for PSG. PSG look like a different team in the ARKEMA as they make it 7 out of 8 wins this season as they start going on a run, but it's the usual suspects in this four. It's Karchawi, it's Lukta, it's Echegini and Isabella getting their names on the score sheet. The only goal they conceded was Mary Earps, a penalty that Merps parries into the goal, and she gets very angry at the fact that she's conceded it, but fair enough. But I don't know. I wonder what their youth and their depth setup looks like if this is the question now, because they don't really need to use their youth the same way because they are so far out of the UCLW at the moment. They have how many points? 0. Shock Kelly O'Hara still, but they've got 2 more games. It's not like they're completely out. But
I just say chuck them in there. I know okay. You're playing medium to high level opposition coming up, correct?
Yeah.
I think it's both responsible and irresponsible. So I think it's responsible that you actually try and bed your players in, but irresponsible for it to come to this. Like, you're PSG. You're not PSG to the extent in which we're expecting you to walk the Champions League and be this titan in the league. No, but we're expecting a team that invests money, gets ballers, yes, has lost players, but like has recuperated to some extent. I mean, at some stage, you have to start looking inward, and I blame the coach wholeheartedly. I've said it from the start. The system is stupid, right? It is a dumb system that does not fit these not dumb players. And get Karchawi out of there. Get that girl out of that club. I don't care.
She'll be worth a lot of money, to be fair.
Bag her to the Emirates myself. I'm not even joking.
The Emirates, I could see her. I think she'd go. I think she'd go to a different country. I don't think she's going to England. I think she'd have fun.
Diora's done it.
What? I mean, Giora has, but I could see her in Spain. I mean, I don't know if this is Madrid. You could see this as a downward step, but I could see her in the Serie A doing the dominant, being the dominant force, being the player of the season potentially in the Serie A. I think we're done with the ARKEMA as we move to the FEMINILE. We say it every week, but I mean, I know Roma are quite far ahead, and they've now just edged a little bit further ahead after their win away at Como, the beautiful, majestic stadium of Como, copping a 1-0 loss to Roma. Despite 32 shots in this game, only 1 goal going in.
So Italian.
The most Italian thing we'll ever see. But what's more Italian is Giuliano, the best player statistically in the league by a mile, having a one-on-one and absolutely fluffing her chance, which is hilarious. I literally wrote it in the score sheet. I was like, oh my God, obviously this is it. This is the 1-0. This is the goal. Nah, she hasn't done it. But, I mean, we had to get Veens to get the ball into the net from a corner kick, whipped over. Giulielmo headers it across. Veens taps it through, and that was all she wrote. But there were so many Roma chances. Oh my God, they are a chance creation machine in the league. They just can't do it in Europe. I don't know what it is. They just need a few more years and experience there. But this was a big win for Roma, and this was a testing game for Como. I feel like this is kind of indicative of where they will end up in the league, where they come up against better opposition. I feel like they will fall a little bit short. And I know they did well against Milan. I just think this was more indicative of their normal performance, where they have a lot of chances, but they're not high percentage and they don't deliver that same way.
They remind me of LCL. I've said this before. It's not even just the feminist girl power model that they're going for. I genuinely think that the character of player that they have, that kind of mix of experience come new stars, I think this is kind of where they settle. 4th, 5th, maybe a 3rd. But I think this is kind of their level. I think Roma outclassed them. I want to shout out my Swiss goat, Alana Pilgrim. Love.
Yeah, she is a ball. When she's on the ball, she looks like she's going to score every time. She's one of those players. I just love her
intent. I just love the fact that she wants to score. I honestly think she's actually too creative for the City.
Where do you want to see her?
Spain. Chuck her in a Spanish team. Chuck her in an Athletic.
I was going to say she could be. I mean, if Beth Mead goes, maybe she's the answer. Maybe she's the right side. And then you'd have Liv Smith and Alaya Pilgrim, these 2 ball carriers who look so exciting when they run with the ball. That's how I can see her in an maybe it's just because I see her in Swiss tops all the time and I'm just like all red and white. That's the motto. But I mean, shout out to Como's keeper, by the way, Gilardi, because she kept out so much crap. Like, oh my God, I felt bad that they conceded one because she did the business. But there was a few amazing goalkeeper performances in this week that we'll get to properly. But We're going to talk about Genoa, Napoli. Napoli, again, you did say they're a little sneaker for the league. They're now in third, by the way.
I didn't say for the league. I just simply said a contester for
you said they're a title contender / shaper. And Cecilia Fleur is leading that shaping. And Hannah Barker, American international scoring as well. Marley Trone as well, her first goal for Napoli after moving. They seal their win away from home. Very easy for Napoli to dismiss Genoa, who are struggling at the bottom of the league, who are ahead of Tercana, but not by much. So they are the battle at the bottom right now. Juve beating Fiorentina, back in their tread, second in the league, exactly where they want to be, 5 points behind Roma, put the pressure on them. But this was indicative of Fiorentina not being to the level I thought they were going to be. The way they started the league, it was so fiery. But I don't know, there was Omar's dot here hit the crossbar. There was 26 shots, 8 on target for Juve, and they only got 1 goal again. Classic Serie A ball. Winkelstrand with, 7 saves as well. Ridiculous. But there was crossbar hits. Lena Hurtig, 1-on-1, big chance, fluffed. Yeah, I don't know how that is for you to watch that.
You gotta believe. Keep the faith. Keep the faith. Lena Gotig, right?
Swedish Michelle Heyman. No, I'm joking.
Jeez.
I'm joking. No. The history, the legacy. I've just got to see. She's got to get more chances. They got to create more for her.
Really, Champions League winner.
I mean, I say that
put respect on her.
Yeah. No, I say that like properly. Girelli had a big chance 6 minutes later and fluffed it as well. So like the best do miss, and Juve's build up in this game was slick, but it basically did not matter until the 92nd minute. Serie A ball at its finest, when they try to feed the ball to Cambaji and then the ball bounces off her, and then the 2 defenders, it bounces off of them, and then Carbonell, the left back, finishes at the left side to the far post with a stoppage time winner. 1-0 Juve. Can Serie A ball get more limbs than that? Pretty much not. That's exactly what you expect. I couldn't question that at all. But I mean, a team that I am very excited to watch more of was Milan. But this is what I'm calling game of the round for the Serie A, because this was a shellacking by Milan in the first half. This is the game of 2 halves in the Serie A, which happens every week. There's always one game that's a bit psycho. This was the one. EJ, low-driven shot. Park, great header. They were 2-0 up. Everything was going their way. And then Chante Dompig, number 99, by the way. What a number. Yeah. What a kit, by the way. If she has her kit, I would love to shout her out. She's a machine. But 2-0 up. Why are you going in for a tackle like that? You give away the stupidest red card, let Sassuolo back in, and you let the Scottish goat of the Serie A, Lana Cleland, score one of the best goals of the season so far. This Perla is like 30 yards out on that like corner point of the box. Barring in, obviously. Barring in makes any goal way better. But they were 2-1, and then there was a goal line clearance from Milan. Everything was going Sassuolo's way, but they weren't getting it. And then the 97th minute, Lana Cleland whips the ball in, headed post, Sabatino gets the header, saves a point for Sassuolo, and you can argue that the players didn't try. I mean, shout out to Arrigoni, who made that goal line clearance. But you can go into training that week and scream at Chante Dompig for getting sent off for absolutely no reason, no jeopardy on the game. You were in your own half, you lost the ball, and then you took her out late. You idiot. I'm sorry. There's no other way to describe it. Why are you giving your team a chance to lose that game from that position?
I feel like Milan and Inter, and I know we'll go into Inter, they won, I get it. Yeah. But they're having a fought off. It's like, who can be more stupid? Like,
which Milan team is more of a fraud?
Every week it's the same. It's either like a stupid red card, stupid loss, stupid misses. I'm kind of questioning myself here, because I'm like, these 2 Milan teams are the ones that are invested in. They're the ones that, you know, everyone thinks when they think of Italian football is the big 4, which is the Milan, Juve, Roma, and the other Milan. And I'm questioning kind of what's going on here. again, I question, do the managers, do the owners know that they have a women's team and that their
Maybe
women's
not,
team
but I
are
don't know. I think
failing?
Milan are building something. There are some youngsters there. I think Park and EJ are fantastic. I think specifically Evelyn EJ. We've spoken about her a lot. It is a little bit Evelyn EJ or bust with Milan, but it's not the same Evelyn EJ or bust as it is Tessa Vallert
That's what
or
I was
bust.
just about to
But
say. I mean, it's like we're relying on one or two players every
if
week.
you were someone who knew who Tessa Vallert was, but never watched a game of Inter in your life, and I said that Inter beat Lazio away 2-0, what would your expectation of the scoreline be? That Vallert has a brace, correct?
Yeah,
There's no
of course.
question about it,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what happened. So Tessa Vallert doing an absolute business. What she does pretty much every second week.
CPR. It's just
Yeah.
CPR at this
Yeah.
point. It's
Yeah,
the
it's-
dying institution.
It's
She's
so
resuscitating.
crazy. It's so funny. She is Tintin and the Magic Inter Milan, but the Belgian international who's scored so many goals, important goals for Belgium, has scored so many goals for Inter now, and he always comes in twos really, but. Both of these teams had 14 shots, 6 on target. Just one of them had clearly a better keeper. And this is what happens. Inter has Iceland's number one, Cecilia Runarsdottir.
Baller.
Six saves and a penalty save in this game. Clean sheet. Hands down the best goalkeeper performance of the week. And then shout out to Vilhelmsdottir, who is another Icelandic international for Inter, who got both of assists for Tessa Vallert's brace.
I've never met so many Icelandic people. They're all just turn up in.
They're all just Woso players. The
No, they're all just
Dottiers, man.
Woso players, and half of them turn up in the Serie A. I love it.
Yeah, but they're balling out. And then when we come to a Euros and the Dottiers are all on the pitch, there's a moment of pure clarity that all these Dottiers come together. And then it's the same for. I remember the Icelandic Viking clap for the men's in the Euros. Like they have.
But did you ever see
iconic-
that many domestic players? Like, did you hear any?
Oh,
any
we had
Icelandic domestic
Finna
players?
Bargson, you had a few others, like
sure.
obviously one that we're definitely not going to mention who played for Everton and Tottenham. But like, look, Jonas Dottir and Vigos Dottir, I mean, these are important players in the zeitgeist of Icelandic football, and I think they have such an interesting football, specifically Woso history, because they always usually in and around the tournaments and definitely shape certain moments, and I think that's exciting. But that's all I have for the Feminile. The dub again. My team just doesn't want to play dub football. I don't actually get why do we start the league if we're not going to play it? And then when there's teams that are on 4 games and there's teams on 2 games, what are we doing here? I'm
I
so
don't know.
confused.
Blame West. Anything that happens wrong with league formation.
Blame Cam Sports. Blame Cam Sports.
Blame Western United.
Yeah,
That's all I blame.
but Cam Sports was supposed to buy them.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know
Blame
the
them.
logistics
Yeah,
of Western
no,
United. I just
fair
blame
enough.
them.
But we could talk about your team beating the Kiwis. No, losing to the Kiwis 1-0. I mean, how did that
First
feel?
time. So the
First
first
time.
time we've lost to these losers who don't even. I don't care. I'm going to become an Australian chauvinist for this segment. Why do we have these teams in the Euro League? I don't care. I've been saying it for years.
I want to cut to that bit where we were talking about the dub and we were talking about the Knicks. We were talking about the Knicks, and you're like, I love that the Knicks are in the league. They're such an exciting team. But
No,
now
I don't care.
Yeah. Now you're done. Yeah,
I'm done. I said this
How
about
was the game?
freaking
How was the
Auckland.
game?
The game was terrible. It was the worst game. We're playing in some shoddy backyard in some, I don't know, some random New Zealander's backyard, right? It's the worst pitch. It looks sunny as hell. And
Yeah.
our players did not turn up. No one turned up, right?
Yeah.
And at some point, I'm questioning whether Victory wanted to win, wanted to
Yeah.
just get a point out of that game.
Still don't like any of your players.
I hate all my stupid players. It's
that.
not even the fact that like I will support this team. I watch all the
Yeah.
games. I don't care. But I'm watching such terrible football. They were getting beaten by a woman who should be banned. Freaking
Oh,
Jerome
yeah,
FC.
true. Yeah, Jerome FC. Bev
I've-
Priest, the GOAT, the Bielsa of Woso.
Anyone in Australia knows that tuning in for like a Knicks game or an Auckland game and it's played in New Zealand, you're going to get those 2 men who are the New Zealand commentators who are freaking biased as hell, right? And they
Fair enough.
No, I don't care. They started calling it the Bev-olution. Shut up. Shut up. I'm losing 1-0. My team doesn't
Come
want
on
to
the
score a
pod,
goal.
Bevolution, boys.
Oh my
I
God,
love
it
that.
was-
The
oh,
the
so
Beversons. The Beversons. I'm so for it. But Charles Bevan. But
Christ.
I mean, we have to talk about the league at the moment because Sydney FC are on top of the league, which is
True.
I mean, look, is this going to be a 23-24 kind of season where, I mean, no Dos Santoses, but still, they beat Central Coast Mariners. Is CCM getting a little bit of a humbling after last season, a little bit of a hangover,
We
clearly.
talked about this. This is again karma. It
Yeah.
is poetic justice. You cheat, you deserve to be shit. I don't care. I don't care. But no, on your point for Sydney, no,
Yeah.
they're on 4 games.
Yeah.
Half the team is either on 3 or
We're
2.
on 2,
Yeah.
yes.
Like, you guys have a 30-game winning streak in the league that no one seems to want to talk about, right?
Or unbeaten streak, not winning streak, unbeaten streak.
Unbeaten streak.
Yeah.
But I look, they're not going to stay there for long. They get these 1-0 scraps. It's not good football. They're relying on their usual talismans, you know, the Hawksbys, the Gallach who came in from Central
Macca.
Coast, Macca as well. I think that this table is really kind of, it is not representative of the league and the quality that the league have right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But speaking of quality in the league,
I was just about to say, I don't know what you have to say about the theory that the official dub account put out that basically these players from Australia coming back to Australia after, in one instance, quite a shitty failed attempt at moving overseas versus Amy Sawyer, who I actually think had a really good time overseas, coming back either on loan, either permanently to the dub. We have also Caitlin Torpey, Carly Johnson. They're from Yankville and Canadiaville. I think it's a step down for some, a step sideways for others. What are your thoughts?
So if I'm not mistaken, Remy and Amy are the ones who are at the Norwegian club. Were they at Lina Koppig or?
I think so.
I can't remember. I can't 100% remember, but they were abroad. They're the 2 players in Europe who are sadly indicative of this epidemic of failed Woso experiments. For every Ellie Carpenter, there is a Remy Simpson or a Amy Sayer. Sadly, at this point, I think it's just too early
Courtney
for
Vine.
Amy. Yeah, I mean, Courtney Vine's a bit different, but I will live for Courtney Vine and that penalty. But Remy Simpson and Amy Sayer are good footballers in the realm of the dub, and I think wherever they go, they will be double-digit goal scorers. I think Amy Sayer just needs support around her and gets she can get chances. It's just if she takes them. Remy Simpson has played at top level. She's played in the WSL. She's played in Norway. She knows. She's definitely a double-digit striker no matter where she goes. The question is where she goes, but then talk about, if you're asking me the jewel in the crown of these 4 players, it's Torpey, right?
I agree.
Torpey is a fantastic footballer with endless bounds. Like, she's playing in that left back, left mid, right back, right mid hole.
She's playing in the San Diego system, so it's really
she's playing
kind of
exactly. So when you're in the dub, she'll get a lot more freedom to break through, do what she wants. I think she's going to be the one to watch out of the 4 of these. And Carly Johnson, I mean, is exciting because this is a time to prove her worth again and then go abroad if she wants to later on. But ultimately, I think Remy and Amy have a lot more to prove than Caitlin and Carly. And I think, I mean, obviously it's weird because we don't play our leagues at the NWSL is now sitting in this model that is actually now, it's no longer the American model because the MLS has changed their format to line up with European scheduling. So it's just the NWSL that ends, and then the dub ends, and then it moves across. And it's very interesting the way we look at ultimately the shift in scheduling and how it dumps into respective other leagues. But I think Remy Simpson has a lot to prove as someone that I used to say is an important role player in terms of when she was at Leicester. There were moments she had that were really good. I think she needs to tap into that 9 role a little bit more because I think she has a chance. Like, obviously, I think she's now behind the pecking order of McNamara and Sam Kerr, obviously, but
Michelle
I
Heyman.
love that. I love that. I love that note. But I'm saying Michelle Heyman and Simpson should be at the same level. That's how I see it, is that they should be battling for third, when the reality is that right now Heyman is levels above Remy on form, in the sense of, like,
I will have to agree.
you have to pick it on form, and I think the best of Remy Simpson can be better than Heyman, but the best of Remy Simpson is now 2 years ago. So we need to see some form development on that. We are going to do the final installment of Leggy's NWSL Watch.
Oh my God, I'm
baby,
I actually mourn it.
So let's do it. Let's do it first. Is that we are the best WSL predictors of all time, because I don't know any other team. I mean, unless they're Gotham pilled, which, I mean, everyone
chose Spirit.
All of the Yanks chose Spirit to win this game. They thought there was Spirits to lose. We knew that when push comes to shove, when the game matters most, our GOAT, Thug Rose, will come through. What a machine. But before Thug Rose comes through, we have to talk about, this is a Jaden Shaw performance of the ages. Like, if any £1 million signing needs to justify themselves, the things she did in this first half, oh my God, she looked like a shark in a pond of salmon. Like, she was feasting so badly.
The only player who wanted to play football in that game was Jaden Shaw.
Yeah.
It was cagey. Oh my God, it was so poor technically. But we've come to expect this from the finals. I haven't seen a final in years where I'm actually seeing the best of the best football-wise. Like,
in the NWSL.
In the NWSL, I think it comes down to it being a long season and you're tired, but it also comes down to the fact that a lot of managers play quite pragmatic ball in the final, because it's one result. You just need to get that result. There's no double headers. There's no nothing like that. So to me, a player like Jaden Shaw, I never really expected to come out of the blocks and do what she did early on, but she set the tone. And for me, the moment that those balls started she was starting to strike those balls, she was trying to make chances, taking players on, I knew that Gotham were onto something. Washington all game looked tired. They looked so tired. They didn't want to play. I genuinely think they didn't want to play. They were pissed that they weren't at their shitty Washington Stadium around Kang.
The Audi Kangville,
Yeah, they weren't there. They were at the PayPal Stadium in Cali, and it was 18,000 people, very even crowd. And I think that Gotham rode a wave of not underdog status. They really wanted to reject that claim and that label of underdog, but I think they wanted to
they played it like underdogs. I don't like the rejection, because it's not a negative term. You have something to prove. There is something to prove. If Gotham lost this game, it would have been regression. It would have been expected, but there was something to prove. Interesting.
I think because Gotham are the most recent winners out of the two in the NWSL.
That's
They won it 2 years ago. Their roster is better than Washington's. It just is. Their roster is one of the best in the league. The place of 8th is not indicative of the form coming into the playoffs, the postseason. But I also think it's not a true representation of the levels of this team. I mean, this is also a team, by the way, that's won their Continental Trophy.
Yeah.
And who has built depth with the inclusion of someone like Jaden Shaw. So I never saw them as underdogs, right? I just simply saw them as a team that had a tougher draw coming up against KC. But the minute that they beat them, I was confident. I had that same level of confidence, more so than I had in 2023. And I know a lot of pundits thought that this wasn't the year, and 2023 was far more of the fairy tale and this was never going to happen. But Gotham and Lavelle, I mean,
Rose, what a goal!
It had to be her.
The ball across the box.
Oh my God.
It's sublime, and then it just funnels through. And if you could choose any player in the NWSL, to be honest, for that to fall to, it's probably Martha and her. And that on the left side, it's her, and she just pinged that into the bottom left corner. It was perfection, and you knew as soon as that went in that the game was done. The game was done on the brink of that goal, 100%.
I definitely didn't see Washington coming back. I do sort of blame Washington in this situation. I blame their coach for two things. One is that Hal Hirschfeld was obviously injured
Oh,
minutes.
yes, that was ridiculous, by
So
the
there
way.
was a crunching challenge between her and Lavelle, ironically, because the ball was being played out from the back, a lot of pressure as Gotham were doing, which is really good. There was just a
Yeah.
lot of forward pressure. The pressure trigger was insane.
They just had to make it a scrappy affair. And then she happened to be the one that got clipped.
And Hal Hirschfeld is actually incredibly important, like a really underrated.
She's had an
cog in the
amazing
system.
season.
Yeah.
She's had an amazing season.
Yeah, and I think basically what happened is she came off. There were 10 men on the field, and Gotham just were able to gain momentum, really be able to change on transition. How Hirschfeld came on, then came off anyway.
Yeah,
right?
and then holding her leg every single stoppage of the game, she was holding her leg. And then the moment that the ball goes in, she goes straight to her leg. And she was the closest to the ball of all the people to Rose Lavelle. So it's indicative of poor decision making, not knowing what to do in a moment of weakness and a moment of vulnerability. And that is on Spirit. That is how you have finals are razor thin margins. These things can happen. But I mean, this is such an interesting, like, this campaign that Gotham had in this playoff series, this 3-game run will be, firstly, it pays off Jaden Shaw's a mill straight away. The £1 million signing is seen like, definitely. It could have been 2 million at this point. The way in which she played for those 3 games is worth its weight in gold. But what does it mean for the broader context of players like Rose Lavelle? What she's now got her cup, she's got her trophy. What now for this crop of players who are, as you said, have this amazing roster? Do they go again? What's the next thing for them?
I think naturally when you kind of start to level up with the historic legends of the NWSL, Portland's, North Carolina, Washington's even, right? Like there comes a level, Seattle, there comes a level of pedigree where you start to become a destination club. I think Gotham has always been a destination club. I think having a coach there that is super invested and plays a system style ball, I think that really attracts players who come from Europe or come from more cultured parts of the world when it comes to football. But I think for Rose and by extension for the institution of Gotham, this is huge because not only is this their 3rd season in the league, this is their 2nd win in 3 years. Like this is levels like North Carolina and the doubles and the trebles that they were doing, right? Like I don't think I've seen a team look so like shaky. Like I get so frustrated during like mid-season because I'm like, you should be winning these games, and then they come into the off season and they're a completely different monster. I think last year was a bit of a like untimely kind of misalignment between kind of where they wanted to, what they wanted to play, what the style they wanted to do, and the players that they had. Now that they have the players, I think that Carter, AKB, Esther, Rose, the Shaw and the what's her name?
Mitch Purse.
That's it. I think those they have players there that are set up for the now, players that are set up for the future.
Yeah.
I see this particular team going one more.
Yeah.
And I think in the next 5 years, I think that they could easily build a dynasty.
100%. And I mean, there are questions to be asked about. I mean, you mentioned Spirits manager Gonzalez. Look, Rodman was on relatively early in that game. I mean, in the prior playoff games, she was coming on in the 70th to 80th minute. She was on in the 57th minute. I assume they thought she was fitter than she was.
No
I
way.
didn't see the speed that we know Trinity Rodman
I didn't see
have.
the speed. I didn't see the technical ability. I didn't see to me, it was a motive. And I feel like coming into a final, that's not going to happen. I mean, you have your trademark finals crash out now, which Trinity has done for the last 2 years in the final. But I feel like at this point, Trinity Rodman, you have the speculation of her maybe leaving. You have this idea that she is this kind of face of women's football in America now. I struggle to see kind of where this face and where this maturity is because I don't see it. I looked at her in that Washington system and thought she kind of looked like she checked out. I feel like, as I said, emotionally she was really willing, but physically she looked.
But also, it was off for Cantore. I thought if you're going to bring her on for anyone, you
Oh,
bring her
Cantore
on.
was no, it was so
Yeah,
stupid. to
no,
take her off.
I know, Cantore was wrong, but sure, like, I'm not the best, not the best coach in the world, but like, you got to have your best 11 on for a final. Like,
I don't think
surely,
she's in there, but I don't think she's
you don't think Cantore is in their best 11?
I think
Interesting.
Cantore is in their best 11. I think,
Yeah.
I actually think that in the last few weeks she's been very shaky, and I actually think she's proven herself to be maybe a bit of a luxury player. But
Interesting. No, but I mean, I'm not saying Rodman should have started. I'm just saying if you're gonna have Rodman on, you have her with Cantore instead of. I feel like
so you'd move Cantore presumably because you
I
can't
would
move
have.
Rodman.
I would have probably. I mean, I think it was a idealistic decision based on how the game was going because Kouassi was doing quite well on the other side.
And Gift Monday was doing okay. She just
Monday
wasn't
was doing
getting the
okay, but
service.
I felt like Bethune was getting locked up a little bit. I
Yeah,
feel
fair
like
enough.
what's her name? Who's the 6 for Gotham? She was unbelievable. Jalen Howell. Yeah, she was unbelievable in this game. Ran the midfield and then gave the license for Lavelle to be that player who finds the half spaces and basically conducts without the ball. And this was a game that was beaten on the flanks. They were beaten in midfield. There's not really one aspect of the game in which ultimately Spirit had the upper hand, maybe on that left side a little bit, I guess. But again, Cantore, that was short-lived and Rodman didn't really offer enough to be the difference maker. And I feel like they'll look back at this game a bit glass half empty in the sense of what they could have done with the chances they had versus Gotham, who took the brunt. I mean, albeit like they had more chances, but nothing Spirit did put any pressure onto AKB at all. And this is a goalie that you have to test AKB in order to beat her. This is not a goalie you just walk over.
There was your typical AKB moment right at the end. I don't know if you remember. Esme Morgan whips a ball in the last minute, maybe. AKB storms out of her box to try punch the ball. This is not like,
Love that.
It completely comes the outside of her box to punch the ball because she's crazy.
Yeah.
But I am so chuffed that whole team deserve it. Honestly,
AKB is just honestly her resume is just a joke at this point. Like how
many trophies has she won?
Yeah, it's not even fair.
Sorry, this is her 10th trophy with, I believe, Jess Carter.
Holy
madness.
schmoly, that's nuts. I mean,
Madness.
she's just a titan, a goalie's titan. I think she could. I mean, she's old, but she could still be the number one in pretty much any team in the world.
Agreed.
That's how good she is. And then the moments she has, if I say AKB to any Woso fan, all they think of is that save in the Euros straight away, and they can just think of her lifting WSL trophy after NWSL trophy after NWSL trophy because she's a serial fucking serial winner. I never think of her just losing. And you know what? If she's in goal for Germany in this Nations League final, it's going to take a lot to beat Clara, AKB, and the rest of Die Mannschaft. Like, this is a team that is going to give Spain a run for their money. And if she has a game, sometimes football isn't just won with how it's played. It's just there are certain individuals that take control of the game. And if AKB can do it, it's anyone's game in that Nations League two-legged final as well. It could be one leg where they set the tone and one leg where Germany finish it off. But we'll see what happens. But we're going to move from the NWSL watch. I mean, the finale of the NWSL watch.
Sad. We will have NWSL
content.
catch-ups.
Yes,
because
of course.
there are moves. There are inevitable moves.
Everything.
So.
And there's also just so much waffle between the holy trinity that is Meg Pino, Michelle Kang, and Emma Hayes live in attendance. I mean, that game was just a whole mess. We could do a whole special hour about the mess that was going on during that game. We're going to move from one final to another final in the Liga MX final as it was over 2 legs. Shout out to our close friend, Sofia Ramirez, sadly watching Club America lose in their final not once, not twice, not 3, but 7 times in a row. They've lost the final 7 times in a row with the same manager. Same manager. Imagine this happened in any other league, in any other institution.
They've Arteta'd.
This is the most Arteta-coded team. And you were going for Tigres. How dare you?
Yeah, I've been a lifelong Tigres fan for the last 2 years.
Yeah, sounds great.
No, I follow the team, and I completely admit this for Jenny Hermoso. She didn't have the most crazy true games in the world, but I just love the fact that she's been successful with this team.
See, I like Sandra Panos more.
Okay, great.
Bless her. But no, look, the 2 legs were so different to each other. I mean, the first leg, I don't know what they were smoking.
This was the best 2-legged final because you had the like craziness of the first
dichotomy
leg,
of football,
and then you have like the very, very traditional finals-esque second leg. The first
Liga
one's,
MX,
like,
Liga MX final, Liga MX week 1.
Yes.
That's what I think of in this first game. The 3, I mean, what was it? 3 goals within like. I mean, again, it was across the 90.
25, and then this third goal by Club America in like the 45th.
But I'm thinking more like when we have goals, usually it's like the 1st and the 90th. There was a goal every 10 minutes. I felt like there was a goal every 10 minutes. It was just insanity. And I mean, there was a lot going on. America, they tried really, really hard to keep their attack strong and their defense tight, but ultimately I felt like there was a little bit of an inevitability to Tigres, and it doesn't matter who they come up in a final, they just regress to their opposition, America. And I think there are certain players that I've seen in the progress to this final didn't really turn up in the way I thought they would. Specifically, I've been watching a lot of Kiana Palacios. I think she's a fantastic player, but just again younger. But ultimately, just this was the moment to show yourself, to announce yourself to the MX and the wider world that was watching this game. Like, I don't know, it just felt left a lot to be desired. But again, a 3-3 is not a bad first leg. It was just more moving into the second leg. It just felt a bit sad and regressive.
I think it's so difficult leading 3-0, losing that 3-0 lead, and then going into the second leg. I think that's really draining. I actually was talking to Soph because she obviously would know more than us. Yeah. And the interesting part she told me was she actually thought that the Tigres atmosphere, the stadium at the Tigres stadium, would be far more intimidating for the Club America fans than the Club America stadium, the Azteca. So I was surprised that kind of when I watched the second leg, I felt that intimidation. Like I was a Club America fan, knowing that we're 3-3. We lost that 3-0 advantage that we had. And you kind of like chicken fodder. The
final was over before it started. You lost all the faith.
Yeah, the momentum dragged from the first to the second leg. It didn't help that Club America got a red card. And then it's funny enough that the player who got the red used to play for Tigres. I mean, I'm no conspiracy theorist. Yeah. However, we may have supplanted a spy in the Club America ranks. That's all I'm saying.
It is. No. I mean, it is crazy. Like, I feel like there is mad juju on their final status because they just come in with the raw. Like, this is like it's just they can't get over the line. And like you just think about certain other institutions that would just not let this go with their respective manager. But ultimately, I mean, there was a big red card in that second game that kind of sealed the deal. I mean, it was an early goal. Diana Ordonez took that chance really well for that strike. But I mean, the question is, I mean, that red card, that was everything. That was the football heritage in that red card as an ex-Tigres player getting sent off in a final where you're losing to them. I mean, I couldn't imagine being Nancy Antonio, but ultimately America, they did try, but I felt like it was short-lived.
The game management by Tigres was pretty phenomenal. I think
post 20 minutes. It
was a team far more experienced. I had far more experienced players, in my opinion. Yeah. And I think the weight of being a Club America player now, I think it just grows with every final. And I actually said
every lost final,
Every lost final. I said this. I think it's a testament to know that your team is still investing and believing and getting there. I think it's like a real testament to the club and to the culture of the club. But I think there do need to be questions about the fact that you are losing these finals when you get there. But I don't know. I think MX is a really interesting league because it's both a retirement league for some of the great players. Lohmann went there. Hermoso. We have Emily Gilnick, who's at Montez.
Sandra Panos, yes, 100%.
But then you also have players kind of like the Ovayes who are being kind of produced there and then being
the young stars are coming through 100%.
I think it's a real kind of breeding ground for some real talent.
Yeah. And also so the NWSL is starting to swoop them. And then what the MX do is that they swoop from South America because South America, albeit having immense talent, their funding of their respective local leagues is nowhere near to the level it should be, and that's why they scoop over to the MX. And I mean, this is why teams like Tigres are so successful. And I mean, the numbers just don't lie. How many finals? It's ridiculous that what they've won.
7 most championships won. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible. And what? They've been in 11 finals and won 7 of them compared to crazy. Club America, who've been in the last 6 or 7 and have lost all of them. It's insane that, I don't know, you got to be in it to win it, but how many times until you're running into the door, you're jumping into the same fences over and over and over again? Do you knock down the fence? Do you jump over a different fence? Or do you change the jockey? That's the question, right? Yeah. Sometimes you just change the jockey, or you change the horse. You do something to make sure that you're getting over the line in some aspect where you get that market success, which gives people a reason to stay. That isn't just immense ambition over something that's haunting you, I guess. It stops the final hangover, I guess. But yeah, an amazing game, an amazing batch of games. But we are going to move on to, I mean, we've done a little bit of this in the international break, the previews.
I feel like it's just like easy predictions. Because I feel like we know the teams. It's Spain, it's Germany.
We already covered. We covered the best of the best. So what do you think? What's the Euro
semi-final?
Yeah. So this is the first leg and the second leg, correct? Yeah. They're doing them both together. Yeah. What do you think's going to happen?
I think a 2-1 aggregate for Spain.
Yeah. Aggregate, like over 2 legs.
Yeah, I don't think it's high scoring. I think it's going to be that very, very similar to what we get in the in the Euro semi-final.
Yeah. What do you think? Who do you think will be the culprits?
Tough question. I think Pina. I think Pina is there. Really, I think
finals bound. Yeah. Fair enough.
I think Pina is there. I could probably see Aitana turning up. She loves a game against Germany, as we know. But I think Lexi on a PK, something like that. I see it happening.
I don't see any Spanish player scoring a PK in a Spain top. But I think this game, I disagree with you. I think it's going to be not a goal fest, but it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be tighter than we expect. I think Spain will win the first game 2-0.
Okay.
Start 2-0, and then I think what I think will be exciting to happen is I think Clara Bull will run the second game. I think they will go 2-0 up, and then I think it'll be 2-2 to finish. So I think it'll be 4-2 on aggregate, but it'll be a mounted defense, especially with the fact I feel like, I don't know, it's hard to say that Spain will score 2 in both games because AKB is back, and I feel like she will make some immense saves. And Kanak also coming back. I wonder how that back line is going to look. But the reality is that, I mean, if Imade is in this team, I'm so confused at what the plan is. But Alexia, I think Alexia will assist Pina for 1 goal in the first game, and I think Aitana will get one of the goals in the first game. And then in the second game, I'm going Clara Bull goal. I'm going, who will be up front? Will be Leah Schuler probably. We'll go Schuler goal, Clara assist. So that's 2. And then the 2 coming back will be, this is tough. Who will get the comeback goals? They don't have a part 3. I'm going to go Leia for 1. Actually, no.
Maria.
Irina and Caldente.
Headers?
Yeah, both headers, by the way, to finish off the game. Obviously, we predict La Roja to win. As we move to the third place playoff, why are there 2 legs for a third place playoff? This is an absolute mess. But, I mean, no big names coming back in, really, other than, Eriksson, Ilestedt,
No, they're
No,
dropped. So,
no, they
sorry.
dropped. Yeah, no, I think they're
Yeah, I
added
think they're
because I
dropped.
think Bella,
Oh, added?
I think Bella Anderson's not in. Right, I think they're not playing because Yanogi's not playing either. But Lemogwadek from the first senior call up from the Serie A and rightfully deserved. But I think I don't know. I think Spain. Sorry, that was very funny. Oh my god, that was very much like. Have you ever seen that clip of the two guys talking about Belgium v Portugal? I think France, but
Yeah.
no, I think France. I actually think France win this game, and I predicted
Really?
France to beat
They're
Germany.
gonna win something? That's
They're gonna
incredible
win.
then.
They're gonna win. They're gonna win third place, which isn't winning.
That's still
But
something.
Sweden do love winning third place. To be fair,
Exactly.
I
See
just
my
think
logic.
Tony. I just can't root for Tony G. I'm going 1-0. I'm going 1-0, 0-0. Like regressive, boring games. Like this will be. None of them want to get super injured in a third place playoff. I'm going France 1-0 early first game. We go Karchawi goal. I can't. Maybe Katoto. I'm gonna go 1-0 and then 1-0. And if Cascarino's playing, it'll be her.
I think, look, I think it'll be 2-2 by the end. I really do.
Wow.
I think Stina will have a say. I really think Stina will have a say in this because I think Stina is I think she really very much.
She needs this. She needs
Yeah,
this
but
in a
France,
Swedish kit.
France's line is very susceptible to the Stina run, and it's susceptible to the Stina run, but Stina is very susceptible to the offside.
If she
So
plays
I
off the
think-
back shoulder of Wendy
yeah,
Renard, then she'll be able to do it.
what,
100%.
Is Renard playing?
Is Renard not in? I thought she was in. But I mean, it'll be an interesting game. But if she's not in, then they still have Mbok, and you can just play off her back shoulder ultimately.
Look,
But
I think it'll be a draw, and then I think it's a coin toss. I don't want France to win anything. I don't want them to win anything.
obviously Sweden are a lot better at penalties than
It's
France.
interesting because I think that they're both a bit chaos ball when it comes to pens. Like, I mean,
No,
we know
but
what.
Sweden have won a penalty shootout more recently than France. 100%.
Did they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they won one in the World Cup against the US.
True, they won
And then
famous
France
celebration.
lost to us in the World Cup.
Of course.
But,
But they
in
both
the
lost the penalty shootouts
in the Euros, yes. So they both lost recently, but one has much more experience winning. But I also just think Sweden have better penalty take. I think Rolfo is a better penalty taker. I
Agree.
think
But will she be on for the 90?
Ziggy Yachty's penalties are
Oh
absolutely
my God,
incredible.
yes.
If she
Agree.
can get back into form, maybe this is a good chance for Ziggy Yachty to get back into form. But we are playing New Zealand, which is such an inconsequential friendly, which shouldn't. I mean, we let's not spend more time on this than we have to. But we are going to smack New Zealand. We are a lot better than
I don't
New
agree.
Zealand. No,
I don't
You
agree.
no, shush. I'm not entertaining this conversation. Just make
don't
your
care.
prediction.
My prediction: 2-2. I'm
Two
saying
all.
it.
Who's
2-2.
scoring? Who's scoring for New Zealand? The
New
ghost of
Zeal-
Ali Riley.
the New Zealand ballers that
Yeah.
exist out there.
I'm going.
rooting for.
I'm going 4-1. I'm going
Well,
4-1.
who's scoring for the
4-1.
Tillies?
What? Who's
Whatever.
scoring for the Tillies? Michelle Heyman. No. If Holly Mack starts, she's getting 2. And if Caitlin's in the squad, yeah?
Yeah.
Caitlin 1, Rasso 1. My redemption go. The best player to ever not play well in club ball, Hayley Rasso, James of the Tillies. And then the last but not least, the other marquee game, the US women's national team, Hayes Ball going up against Italy. I think this is routine for Hayes.
I
and
don't
her
think it's
squad.
necessarily routine.
Wow, what a shock.
No, it's not just because I'm a contrarian. It's also
No.
because I saw. Okay, Italy.
Jaden Shaw will start, surely, no?
Interesting.
Surely.
I think that she will probably give priority to the European players because I think the NWSL players have just come off their season, so they'd be tied.
That's true.
But I think Italy had a very interesting last international window. They played Japan. It was very interesting. But I still am very bullish on that Euro 25 Italy that was just something that was interesting
So
to
what,
watch.
Girelli 1-0?
No, I don't think it's a 1-0. I think they could get a draw. I mean, we just saw
2-2.
Portugal.
Are you going 2-2
we
again?
just saw Portugal beat this US
That's
team.
true.
But I'm just saying.
okay, but I would not compare Girelli to
I
the
don't
levels that
necessarily-
Kika is currently playing at right now.
True, I agree. But I also think
They do have better depth. I guess the
Italy
depth
has
is helped.
as
Yeah.
now also the spy in what's her name in Cantore.
Oh yeah, Cantore, and they'll have Bordello and Giuliano. They're
Caruso.
players. Their best of their best is much better than Portugal. It's just the across the board in terms of Kika being the maverick is crazy. But I think Italy get a goal. I just think the US get 3, and I think players like Olivia Moultrie, players like Lindsay Heaps, and players like, I mean, as much as I think Sonnet had a terrible final, I think she's quite good in a US top, and Lilia Harness has time to shine here. But if Jayden Shaw is playing, it's the Jayden Shaw show. Like, this girl she's now becoming slowly my favorite US women's national player to watch, at least. Like, what she does with the ball is how I want to see. Like, that's the kind of football that makes you fall in love with football. Like, those kind of players, the ball carriers, the try anything as long as I believe in it. Like, that's what I want to see.
I don't know if this is commemoratory, but if I am correct with my Woso history, this was the first ever official game, Italy versus the US, and it was in '85. So I wonder.
Wow, that's crazy. Wow,
Yeah,
that's a blast. I mean, mate, this is the time to reshape history there we go.
There you go.
40 years on, Italy still beats. Bring back the calcio ball. But yes, we are done with international predictions as we move on to the Benchwarmers Awards. So who is your never bench again?
So I have Katoto.
Yeah.
Recognizing that Ada Hegerberg is in mad form right now.
Yes.
And recognizing that she's a Ballon d'Or winner and one of the best strikers that we've ever seen in the game.
Nice.
So
Two up front?
Yeah, sure, two up front. No, I think Katoto, the best use of Katoto is basically to use her out. Use her out, completely drain her, because what you get from that is the goals. You get the impact. You get the cover of 2 centre-backs who are marking her, and then the run-ins from the 10, the cut-ins from the wingers. To me, Katoto is a player that you need to use up all that you have from her. You got her from PSG. You want to use her. And then you bring Ada on. You bring her on and you get that those Ada headers that we love. You get the Ada finishes with the PKs and those tap-ins and all those things that we love to see from a goal-scoring machine because she wants the goals. But Katoto, for me, she was missed in the first half against Juve. She had a great game against Strasbourg. I don't know. I want to see her off the bench.
No question about that. I think it's a great shout, and I think when Katoto is priming, there was a point last year where I definitely said to you, she's the best striker in the world. Like, she is a scary figure in her peak of her powers, but ultimately it's got to come with form and it's got to come with games. And I mean, it's similar for this player here. I mean, I was going to say Sydney Lohmann, but I'm going to wait till she comes up against proper Oppo. But Jamila Rankin for the Tillies. I'm sorry. This is Nevin Rankin. I don't care. Steph Catley is not the left back anymore. Joe, listen here, right? I'm looking down the lens.
It's not about. It's
I'm
not
looking
about
down the
Steph.
lens. Joe,
not about
just
Steph.
play her where Renee played her when they won a fucking European Cup. I swear to God, just play Rankin. She's playing for Hoffenheim. They're top 4. She's an important cog. She's first name on the team sheet for them behind Serchi. They're never taking her off. She's an important cog in that system. If you want to play Nevin, sure, but this is let's give the respect that Jamila Rankin deserves, which is a player that is doing the business abroad, which we're now seeing other players fail, where she is thriving, and ultimately she deserves the spot. Obviously, you can put Torpy. I think Torpy's more of a right-sided player. I think Jamila's the answer, and I'm hoping in this New Zealand game that he has seen enough of her to know that she's in the lineup. Personally,
I don't think it's Steph. I think it's Lani who has to leave.
Oh, no, Lani has made way. We've shaken.
No, we haven't made way with her.
He's putting her in the. He's putting her in the 6. I'm not even talking about that. But it's got to be Steph and Claire Hunt or Heatley or whoever you want next to Catley. No. Obviously, Heatley needs more time. And I mean, if she becomes a title-winning centre half with Roma, that's a different question. But I mean, yes, she has 2 all-timer stinkers this year. But it's not in Tilly's top. It's a bit different. But my super sub of the week. Actually 2 subs at the same time. We mentioned it before. The Tenerife Atletico game. Suarez and Bisho coming on at the same time. It's ultimately like the manager of the week as well. But that coming on, both of them being a part of the goal scoring, it's almost reminiscent of Beth Mead, Stina coming on with Renee getting that Champions League final goal. When you are a coach and you make 2 subs and those subs contribute to the goal, you must sleep so well at night knowing you have that much control over games. It's insane. But there's my super subs of the week. Who have you got?
My super subs are all 3 of the players.
So I had 2, you have 3.
Yeah,
wow.
Because a super sub collective, if you will. Because
yes, go for it.
The Liga MX first leg was dying for 3 goals to match the Tigres specifically. Were dying for 3 goals to match America's 3 goals in the first half. So they brought on 3 subs to the business in just over 20 minutes.
That's crazy, to be fair.
It's pure super sub. No, it wasn't the second leg, so it wasn't as consequential, but it set up to be a second leg, which was so much more in their favour. So you can't deny that was, yes, fantastic coaching, but also just these players took the game on.
Oh, no question about it. And it was made for an immense final, as we mentioned before. But now we have the Come on the Pod, where I am going to mention her again, Chante Dompig, the winger for Milan who threw it away for them, just didn't need to give it away. Like, I love your kit, love your number. Very excited to see you blossom in the league, but not next week. But you will come back after the red card and you will be important. But maybe don't tackle players like that when you're 2-0 up. Yeah, there's my come on the pod. Maybe you can explain that to me when you come on the pod at some point in the future. But who's your come on the pod?
Someone I'd like to come on the pod. I actually wanted to come on the pod, not just for the reason which I will outline, but also just in general. I think she's a laugh. I think I love her. But Ruesha Littlejohn.
Oh, she loves a pod. She loves a pod.
I just want to know everything. I want to know everything. But I specifically want to know what Hannah Cain said to aggregate her so much.
I mean, surely it was that nudge in the back.
We've all nudged someone.
But it was behind. She didn't see it coming. I think her body reacted differently, and she went little John Wick. She just went God mode. But yeah, that was a takedown, a Cain takedown. But that is all we have for the awards as we move on to the final segment of the podcast, the What Would Kang Do number 13. Ooh, spooky 13th. I mean, I had a lot of choices. I could have done a Taylor Swifty Life of a Woso Girl kind of vibe. But I was thinking it has to be a spooky story. So I went off the horrors or the thrillers that have been relevant in the last year. So I could have done The Substance, like a body horror where Kang uses her serum after the WSL and the NWSL and the ARKEMA and FIFA and UEFA threatened to use her FFP against her, and then she has to take the serum to take over. So easily the financial substance. I could have done him and changed it to her. Kang Marin, Kang Cade. But I decided to do Leggy, our favourite show. It is our new favourite show. Yeah. Vince Gilligan's new show, Pluribus, right? So I'm going to give you the prompt. Very simple. If the world was taken over by a peaceful and content hive mind, and there were 13 people left in the world who were not converted into the hive mind, and one of them was a mogul, a hero, a maestro of economic football integrity, what would Kang do in Pluribus?
So I think naturally you would think that she'd just want the 13 to come up with their own little group, maybe play a 7-a-side, something like that. No. She wants those 13 people to set up 13 different clubs, and then they get their favorite of the infected.
Nice.
And, because the infected, if you've watched the show, they want to do everything they can to help and serve. So what do? They embody the brain of their favorite ballers, and Kang sets up basically what we know as the World Sevens comp, but this time it actually
Summer
is
Sevens.
it's a Summer Sevens World Sevens comp. Tobin Heath will love it. She can be embodied as one of the people for all I care.
But would it turn into the last game? Would it turn into everyone has the ability of Aitana and Alexia combined? All the players are too good. All the players are so good that it's too good.
You get to choose. You're the manager. All those 13 people, because obviously they have the. They have the button basically.
Oh, they can choose. They can choose who they tap into.
Yeah,
so you can't choose more. Can you choose more than one player? But you can't choose more than one player. That's okay. The thing.
It's a bit complicated now, Ben. But just stick with the basics.
Yeah, let's. Also, I'm gonna say for the reference, and I'll edit this after. A few spoilers coming up for what I'm about to say, but this is what I believe will happen. Right. Okay, sure. So, Carol Michelle Kang, yeah? Straight away. Kang, a woman who loved women. She owned a big stake in women's football, now rendered inconsequential due to the hive mind of many. Why have they left Kang like this? Even her children are dead and gone. Washington with no spirit. Lyon with no lions. And London City with no female lions. Lionesses. But she asked herself, why is there only 13 people who cannot be converted? It's almost destiny. Kang wasn't a genius in biology or science or anything relevant to terraform takeover or anything relevant to what's going on right now, but a football mogul who knows financial takeover experience and realized what she can do with 13 people across the world. Yes, 7 people of those 13 speak English, but that's okay. Not every team has a universal language, and she knew this. But with 1 goalie, 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, 3 attackers, 1 manager, you know who you are, and 1 club owner, the 13 could take on the world. If she gets the 13 on her side to be in her team. But that's what she does. This is what she's good at, right? But apparently, a few of the others don't like football that much. And even if they do, they prefer pluriball. Pluriball. The beautiful football on the other side of the hive mind. Some say it's so pure, it's indescribable. Pluriball is pureable. What a load of horse shit. Kang, so angry. The issues she saw with the hive mind were clear. No passion, no love for the beauty, no love for the individuality or the profit motives that are available in football as a whole. The hive mind is made up of the worst ideologies that football has to offer. Charsenal fans, Chelsea loner fans, and fans who like players of teams that leave their clubs. Utter pluribalistic nonsense. That's what I see it as. If you're a Charsenal fan, you are pluribilled. No question about it. But I know Kang usually needs more than 1 team to be able to make her stake in a game worthwhile. But with 1 team left, she had to centralize all her resources into 1 super team. And there's pros and cons to this, obviously. Multiple styles could be built, while the competition is numerically hard to compete with, Pluriball having 8 billion people and us only having 13. They only eat dog food water, so their nutrition, we don't actually know what they eat, but it's not human food. So Kang Ball can utilize proper nutrition and the knowledge that Kang has gained from all of her Kaniska-based research that she so cares about so much, because, I mean, that's all she cares about. But the power of the emotions that she can use on the field could be incredible to not only take out the opposition with emotion and passion, but kill the opposition as a whole. That's what Kang needs to use, her energy and emotion. We don't know what's coming next, but one thing is for certain. The terraformations are being built. Zoshwala is still perplexing inside the hive mind. Kang has a lot of work to do, and her 4-3-3 in the pluribal world can save us all. That is what Kang would do if she was in pluriball.
We get Nisha and Nisha every week.
Oh,
Please.
yeah. I mean, it just had to be 13. It had to be spooky.
I kind of thought, I was like, because I had my own thoughts. I obviously knew Taylor Swift was one of them. I thought it was going to be something to do with 13 Reasons Why, because apparently my cultural knowledge only dates back to 2020.
Yeah, I love that.
But I mean, it's our favorite show.
Pluribus. We had to do it for number 13. Lucky number 13. 13 left of them. But yes, I mean, if anyone's watching Pluribus and Woso at the same time, which it should be all of you. Let's be honest. It's women supporting women. But ultimately, I mean, it's a great show, and our show is great too. So follow us on Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, specifically TikTok. We love TikTok. We are shifting out content there like it is hotcakes, and you are eating them all up, which is so fun, because we love doing that short form content. But there's full audio and video content on YouTube. There is Spotify podcasts that we have our plays on, and thank you for listening to all of those. And our Instagram is where you will know that everything is together, because we post there as well. But that is the end of our podcast. We wish you all the best time, and have fun on your respective benches that you live on, because we love warming your souls and warming your benches. But thank you all for listening, and have a great week.